Hello, good evening, everyone. Honestly, we are really in incredible, amazing times, but they are very challenging, and they're very challenging on the body. And I think one of the other aspects of the challenges on the body is that everyone is experiencing something different and in a different order. And then those of you who are here, likely experiencing what is occurring for the first waivers or the second waivers. And it's very, very intense for some. So I'm just here to bring you the news from Gaia. Some energy updates about how I've been reading the energy and how it's kind of looked and felt to me in the information that I have received and channeling the energy of Gaia. So I've been actually, I have just spent 3 days with 2 of my sisters and my mum who came and stayed, and so that's why I haven't been on. But it was really, really beautiful and nourishing, and just as I said to them, very it's a very harmonious energy when we're together. So that was really lovely. And so I'm here to bring really the notes from the last 4 days, actually. So, going back to Thursday, the 27th of June, that was why I did that post with all of that crystal. And that crystal is a photograph I took of a crystal aura cluster. I think that's what it's called. And yes, it's probably got a more specific name than that, but that's how it looked to me. So if you imagine being in the center of the earth and that Gaia's cave, instead of it being sapphire and emerald, that it was actually this huge angel aura. That's what it looked like. Angel aura crystal, and she was wearing a crown made out of all of these pieces of that crystal, this crown that was really super high, and that's what the cave looked like. So when I went down there was all this light and all this refracted rainbow light from this beautiful crystal, and she was wearing this crown, and she said to me, because honestly, and I know that many of you do, but when we attune to spirit, some of the ascended masters and the archangels, they really have such a fantastic sense of humor, and she does. And she said to me, I'm preparing for my coronation as we return to being the crown jewel of the galaxy. So on Thursday, the energy was a higher frequency with greater clarity and faster spin. And I have to tell you that is the same as it's reading today, except that it's faster. So it was bringing a sense of expansion and a heightened awareness. And also I was shown that on the 27th, that energy brought one group, so the first wavers, to this very advanced height of energetic ascension. And that was in order to impact the next group. So it's that sort of domino effect. One person or one group fills up with all this beautiful energy, and then their energy impacts the next person in the line or the next group in this regard. So I was shown this as this tall, skinny skyscraper sitting in a huge lake of water, and you think you as the skinny skyscraper and absorbing. So you're made of this absolutely very super absorbent material and sucking up the water from that lake. And that's the pulling in of this higher frequency. And then that can represent these advanced souls sucking up this energy, having this energy come into them, having it and bring greater enlightening, greater ascension codes, more advanced codes from the galaxy, from the sun, from the solar, from the stars. And then this, is part of the waters of consciousness being imparted through the entire planet and through each of us. But this very quickly and effectively, the leading edge group of ascended beings impacting the rest. And so then I had, it's not like me really, but I had 2 days of not writing. And then on the 30th, I wrote this. In this profound stillness, because that's how it felt, the universe weaves magic, drawing the new energetic lines to assist holding the higher dimensional frequencies. This spiraling trajectory leads us into a passage of ascension, where the energetic waves will ripple through the galaxy. So I want you to be aware, if you're not already, that, this micro and the macro, it happens between you and the people around you, between the people around you and the collective, or a collective group, between the collective group and a bigger collective group, between the planet and the galaxy, between this galaxy and the universe, between the universe and the multiverse, between the multiverse and the omniverse. So it all ripples back in many ways, back to the oneness, back to the, I guess you could say, back to the single unified point of creation, however you name that. I am pretty interchangeable with what I call that. And then I was showing this kind of imagery. If you imagine a spiral imagery on a diagonal trajectory with a line running through the middle of it, that was how I was seeing the energetic waves through the galaxy as a result of that. As Earth lifts, it is an evolutionary shift. Yeah. You know what it's like. I write from another space, and often it's the first time I'm really being cognizant of what I've written. But yes, if you didn't know this is profound, and is why, or one of the reasons why, our ascension is seen and held as so precious. So as we shift, it's an evolutionary shift for the other planets in the galaxy. Thereby we as Earth, Gaia, begins this movement of ascension for the rest of the universe, leading to dimensional shifts. So even though we may be the lowest dimensional planet in this whole arrangement, and we have a dimensional shift upwards, and the other planets are a higher dimension, it's like permission granted for them to ascend to a higher frequency. So this impacts the rest of the universe, leading to the dimensional shifts also for the multiverse, and all have a dimensional increase. So it really is a privilege and an honor to be here at this time, even though many of you might be feeling like, boo-wee, that ain't true. Because it's really impacting hard on the body, isn't it? So many people may be experiencing pain, and especially in the bones, in the cranial, in the spine, in the neck. Some people feeling pain in their eyes and their ears, lots of popping and blocking and sounding in the ears. You might have things popping out of your skin that you haven't had before. You may be feeling like you have no appetite and then starving. You may feel like you wish to eat things that you don't normally eat. You may feel like you feel to just drink water for a while, to fast. You may feel like sleeping all day. You may be wakeful at night. You may feel like walking. You may feel like lying down. You may feel grumpy, you may feel blissful, and all of this, I want to say, is just a part of our process, and it's happening for us, even though it may not feel like it. It's happening for us, not to us, because we're really in this very exciting dimensional shift, right on the edges of the physical rippling of it. So feeling the impact of it and feeling the effects of it until such point as the whole planet is shifted. So it's, it's the 1 + 1 = 7 times 100 = 1,000,000. It's that whole exponential effect. So once it gets rippling, once it passes that point, and Gaia is talking about that point being 30%, and Carolyn, who's often on here, she got 33%. So we'll be roughly in the ballpark of that. 33% of humanity being highly awakened is enough for this planet to basically ascend. And so what will happen then is that, how Gaia shows it to me, is that when that happens, that's the tipping point. At the tipping point, we will send a signal to the sun. The sun will send an emission to the planet. That will be a flare or an emission or a whole load of plasmic light that sends us a big enough wave that we come back into out this change. And this change will mean our 12 strands of DNA are reactivated. There is likely to be, my understanding anyway, is that we will have like spontaneous healing, that we will have our youth or youthing codes activated, that we will be in, I guess, the knowing of or the practicing of our higher gifts and talents. So many of you will become exceptionally telepathic, little geniuses, being able to weave your own magic in the world for healing and enlightenment and teaching and inventions. And so it's pretty full on. So what else do I want to say here? I might look actually at the chat. Yeah, so I'll just read this part so I don't get lost in amongst my own notes. So I wrote, please honor the planet, honor yourself, and pay tribute to yourself for the part that you have and continue to play in dreaming up our new earth, because this is, we're really shifting into the nuances of creating our own reality right in front of us by everything we think, say, and do. So be in the knowing of that. That's your magician, your magi, your wizard self. So keep your energetic vision on how you wish to see our new fifth dimensional experience, and especially focus on how you desire to feel, because you can do the dreaming up, the thinking, the seeing, and the visualizing, but to me, the fuel that drives that, if that's the engine, the fuel that drives that is the feeling. So you come into that feeling of being in such incredible, expanded love, that feeling in your heart of just feeling so in love with each moment, feeling the light, the frequency, the joy that is around you, and lead with that. Lead with love. So yes, today, that's right. So today, head. So yes, you may be feeling all of that. I think I referred to all of that, but yeah, heads. I wrote in here: head, skull, bones, spine, neck. So a lot of that is to do with what I call the Christed or the Christos or the crystalline infusion. So that's how I'm showing that this golden crystalline light that really impacts our DNA, that it's like having an injection infusion of that light, that crystalline golden light, up through your tailbone and into the spinal fluid. That's what I'm seeing it as, and that's what I'm calling a spinal infusion. And so we've been getting like little bits of it, if you like, and and they're getting bigger and they're getting more profound and affecting various parts of us. And then the eyes, the ears, the jaw, and the teeth. So a lot of that is actually to do with release, because we hold a lot of memories in our teeth, in our gums, in our jaw, and that can be like this compressed energy that becomes anger or rage. So just be aware of that. And then the belly. So in the belly, in the sacral and in the solar plexus, especially today, the solar plexus. So that links very strongly to your own power or anxiety and sometimes your inner child. So it could relate to inner child work not being complete. It could also relate to a feeling of unease because we're so in the unknown. We really are so in the unknown. And then, that affects our digestive system as well, because our digestion is receiving all of this. We are digesting this light. And then the feet. So a lot of people have had sore feet, swollen feet, and I want to sort of hazard a bit of a guess at that is related to the energies that have built in the feet and not moved through. So, I would welcome any feedback from you about that, but I would say that it's related to the energy being stuck there, and to move it through grounding or salt baths, things like that. Okay. So today, excuse me. All right, before I go to today, let's look at the chat. Welcome everyone who's here. It's amazing. I'm always so pleased, delighted and blown away by how many of you turn up with such short notice. Hello, Sally. Oh, cold and wet in Ashburton, cozy inside. That's good. Stay nice and warm. We are finally hitting a bit of winter in our country. Hello, Debbie. Hi, Charlotte. Hi, sweet CC. Aloha. This itchy energy driving me crazy. It comes and goes. Actually, I meant to say to you, because I know you mentioned that last week, I had an experience of that sometime in the last couple of days where I felt super itchy in the skin. Aloha, Graham. I wonder if are you Rachel's brother? 47-second lag tonight. Do other people have lags, or is it just where Debbie is? Evening, Sarah. She's saying, evening, gorgeous beings, little human angels, bedtime complete in the nick of time. Well done, you. Hello, hello. Hi, Larissa. Wild the feelings I'm experiencing in my body and then witnessing the feelings in my little humans. Far out. Oh, that is interesting. That will be, so, as children are way more onto it than we might give them credit for. So they often, the learning that I did when I was studying some of the energy work by Barbara Brennan speaks about children. I'm sure it was in there that I learned this, following the energetic patterns of their parents. Good evening, those girls. She's saying good evening, lights. Wild and wet in Wellington. Looking forward to the end of the Ascension pains. Comes on a few hours before it shows up on the Schumann graph. Yep, well, that's your level of sensitivity feeling into that. Sally, very achy in your joints like a really old woman. That isn't fun. The The other thing is, and Lottie might know more about this than I do. I don't claim to know a lot about this, but I want to say fish oils might be useful for the joint, for the joints if you've got pain in your joints. Hello, Helen. They teach you loads every day. Yeah, they're amazing, aren't they? Scratchy hair and delayed at the beginning. Yeah, I think it's just this weather and the technology and these energies. Hello, Sephora, welcome. So, yes, so today these energies showed up like, how can I explain it? If you think about a stick in the ground with all of these V-shaped branches coming off them, and there were a series of them, but they were made of this very clear, I want to say clear, super high quality with incredible clarity, this crystal, and it was all refracting into the rainbow colors, and there were a lot of them. So that's the shape that I saw coming to the earth this morning. But there was another thing happening from the center of the earth. So that was what I saw coming into the earth from external to the planet. And then I dropped into the earth, and Gaia said to me, there's an increase in spin again, but it is rotating from the center. Rotating out from the center of the planet today, creating a centrifugal effect. So this will bring further release and purification for all. So if you don't know what a centrifugal effect is, if you think about a washing machine spinning super fast and spinning all of the water out of the clothes or the whatever is in the washing machine, and they all end up on the outer edge of the tub, that's the effect of the centrifugal spin, that it spins so fast that it pushes everything out from the center. So that's what she said this morning, and that this enables more receipt of higher light coming into the planetary body and our own. And we've got lots of people in here making great suggestions for joint aches. Magnesium applied topically could support joint aches, I believe. And those girls are saying magnesium and turmeric drops. And Charlotte's saying oils and Epsom salts in a water bath with 45-degree water works magic. Well, Charlotte, I'm not saying that, I don't mean this disrespectfully to anybody else, but Charlotte is going through extreme pain at the moment. So she will be having this experience at the moment. Okay. Yeah. So these rods, that's what they were called, and this centrifugal spin is enabling more receipt of the higher light coming into the planetary body and our own. And it's a wake-up call to a whole new level, is what Gaia said, and particularly a focus at a cellular level. So, we've had things coming through for the brain, we've had things coming through for the psychic gifts, and we've had things coming through for the eyes, and things coming through for the blood, etc., etc. Well, this today is this sort of direct impact at an absolute cellular level. And it's funny, I got guided to do this, so you might want to try this. If you close your eyes and attune to your body today. So do that. Take a breath. Close your eyes. Just attune to your body. You may feel the fine vibration, the fine sensation of a vibratory hum. Let me know if you're having that experience. And then this is the overview for July, and then there's a bit more. So this change continues through July. You know, July, it's the 7th month of the year. If to get a universal number for the month, that's the number 6. So it's interesting because the 7's all about freedom and transformation and magic and alchemy, and the 6th is about structure. It's about home and family and children and the connections and energies that relate to that, and to being grounded and to being informed, and all of that is what we are doing in both directions this month. This letting all of the old of that go and bringing in all of the new into being grounded and into our bodies, and it impacting on government and on corporations and on a lot of those systems and institutions that have a big stake in our three-dimensional world. So this is going to be coming up, and also, you know, that comes with the truth and clarity that we've been witnessing, and this is going to happen in a very public way as we've begun to see. So this change continues on all levels, but will continue to increase. So that's one thing, creating a sense of chaos due to the rapid continuing collapse of old programs and systems. This will show up strongly in government and corporation failure and demise. And this is what is likely to create these feelings that people are going to have of it feeling like it's too fast, that it's out of control. And so the feeling of being in chaos is going to be ensuing from there. But in another way, it's going to create some pushback, because it's going to be overwhelming for some, but it's going to be what would you say? The what is that saying? The thing that is the what is it? It's the thing that means we won't take it any longer. There's a word, I can't think what that word is, I'm sorry, but that is likely to happen this month. It's the last straw. We're likely to witness the last straw. A lot of people feeling like that's it. That's the last straw. I can't take this any longer, and so this might create some response in a public way, more demonstrations, more anger, more rage, more out of control behavior. So we've been talking about that here coming for the last few months, and it's likely to show up in a perhaps a stronger way this month. So let's see, Graham Kapono Ehrlich is saying, in the Hawaiian shaman tradition, and he works with kupua, all illness, discomfort is the result of excess tension. Interesting. It could be tension that is built up for various reasons, mainly resistance to something. Good. That's a wonderful perspective. Thank you. Thank you, Graham, for sharing that. And Helen's saying, Graham, I think the tension is the cause of my aches and pains. Thank you. Yes, so I want to say, in addition to that the tension could be coming from many places, because I am aware of these things happening. So we are aligning to our higher aspects, and so that's coming into the body. So that can be creating tension, but we're also releasing through this lifetime and many past lifetimes, so we can come into this higher form. And we're also in the embodiment of many of these codes, and they are these high frequency, fast spinning. So, you know, we are in this massive purification, and so that's a really useful way to be viewing all of that, to look at releasing the tension in the muscles, the tension in the bones, the tension in the way in which we think about things and respond or react to things also. The straw that broke the camel's back. Thank you, Arctos girl. Tension is hidden bodily inflammation, which needs releasing, is very common for many right now. Thank you. Yeah, so it's my understanding that, we are all experiencing similar things, but in different orders and in different ways, and that this is so that we can sort of still manage as a group, as humanity, so that we're not all experiencing the same thing at the same time. Aren't those girls saying old injuries are my points of resistance? That makes perfect sense too. So, observe and rise above. So what I would say is note when you feel it, tune into your body and notice where it is. And then I would say breathe into that space. And then I would say listen to your body and follow what it suggests. And then you can use water, hot water, Epsom baths, salt, or go to a therapist, a practitioner that can release that either energetically or through gentle manipulation or chiropractic, if that's your thing. So it is this idea that on some levels there's going to be big pushbacks of panic, that we are being asked to observe and to rise above and look at this from the higher perspective, from this newer way of viewing. And many of you, this will not be a newer way of viewing, but we can be speaking to the people around us who might be falling apart about that. It's this recognition that the old has to go to make way for the new, like the collapse of the old building on the section, which can be noisy and messy with a sense of destruction, yet it is part of the necessary process for constructing a new build on the property. So just try and remember it in that vein, and try to not react, because it'll be people like us that can keep this at a greater level of harmony. And this is going to apply to a broad spectrum of our world this month. So Gaia showed up with the saying today. She said, wishes granted, wishes granted. She is moving her hand and sending the energy to the outer earth. So we're really, the upshot of it is that a lot of this, the dark, deep, evil, satanic has gone, to the extent, according to my information from Gaia, that we cannot go backwards. We can only go up. We can only go into further light. We can only go into higher dimensions. We can only be having more and more enlightened, illuminating experiences. And so it's really important to just try and stay in at least at a neutral place, because in many ways, this first wave of awakening, they're like the power pack for Ascension. So you're either there or you're about to plug into there. So you may find old responses of fear and doubt washing through at this time. Just acknowledge that you feel them and let them go, because we're just, we go higher and we go deeper. We come into the new, and that enables us to go older. So right back through the many hundreds or thousands or even tens of thousands of lives that you may have had here, through each continent, through each epoch, through each culture, experiences of the whole spectrum, from birth to death, from peace to war, the whole, there's a lot of spectrums within that many of us have had an experience of. And so we're in finishing school with it. We're finessing our physical bodies, and our physical bodies have never done this before. So we don't really know how to do this. Breathe Slowly acknowledge what you can feel and what you can note, and then let it go. Bring yourself to absolute present moment by taking a deep breath in through the nose, down into the belly, and hold it there for 30 seconds. And then breathe out through the mouth. Do several of those while I continue, but that can really release the tension from your belly. It can bring you a sense of relaxation. Right, what else have we got here? Also from those living out of alignment, tension also from those living out of alignment in terms of mind, body, spirit, and emotional. Yes, good. Deep tissue massage also helpful, yes, to release unprocessed emotions that are engraved in our deep muscles since before birth. Thank you, Sarah. Outdoors girl. Funny, I'm always excited to hear the next part of your sentence when you say, and Gaia showed up. Always a surprise. I know, I feel pretty blessed to have this connection with her. Yeah, but there's this whole idea about being very deliberate with the breathing, and many of you will know that. I'm just reminding you that this can bring us to present moment. So it's very easy to get caught up in what ought to be happening, or what you think ought to be happening, or what you feel ought to be happening. But really, I believe we're in this sort of ongoing collapse of polarities. It's hard to be in the, what would you call it? It's hard to always be in that neutral zone, because there's so much going on. So we've got a lot going on, and our little bodies have never gone through this before. You will have heard me say that it's not my understanding that we have ever ascended through the physical body before. And this is something Gaia started speaking to me about, I think, in 2018, that this is what we were being prepared for, to take our bodies to ascend to the fifth dimension without leaving the body, without dying. So we are doing a lot of adjustment. This adjustment, especially in the physical to the new, these incremental adjustments, they are little tiny incremental adjustments, but it's at rapid speed. So this staying present with self in the moment is what will support you to feel more stable. So a lot of people have been saying that they are feeling like, in that liminal space that we've spoken about over the past week or so, and in the past. So it's that idea of, you're standing on a spot and you've leapt into the air, and the camera has put it on pause, and you're still in the air. You haven't landed yet, but we've got new grid lines. They're higher frequency, they're a different function, and they are not interfered with as they have been in the past. So they're very powerful. So this is what we're being invited to reconnect into. So in a way, you could see it as unplugging from a 3-point plug on one wall, and then having a new plug attached to the end of your cord and plugging it into another meter board, or another type of power, or shifting that physical 3D tangible wired up 3-point plug into some kind of energy Tesla device. So yes, all sorts of aches and pains, including muscle spasms, may be showing up, is what I wrote this morning from Gaia. The spine and neck and bones are areas being strongly affected, as are the lower legs. This is the time to take exceptional care of yourself. Create a simple life. That's quite a nice notion, isn't it? Create a simple life. Do as little as is important. Only do what you absolutely have to do, because we're really being encouraged to just surrender into the beingness, surrender into the neutral zone, surrender into the nothingness, this allowance, this absolute allowance. So yeah, this includes the foods you eat. So go simple with that. Be guided by what your body is guiding you to eat. Cut down on the amount of activity you partake in each day. Just do less. Just do what's urgent, what's required, and do it in a very present moment existence. So that is the point of the breath, right? That slow, deliberate, intentional, conscious breath. Look for the small and simple details in your life and bring joy to each of those occasions. Try and get yourself in nature every day, even if it is that you live in the city. Go to a park, observe a fountain, watch the birds, sit beneath a tree. So many also of you may be feeling that you are in a different place, experiencing greater softness, vulnerability, and sensitivity. I know that's my experience at the moment. I feel so easily and beautifully moved to tears. I feel moved in my body, moved in my heart, touched deeply by things and people and animals and what I'm observing and witnessing. This, yeah, greater softness and vulnerability. And this new and sacred grid network. So think about the ley lines. So you can see that as whatever your perception of them is. I mean, they're called lots of different words, as I've said before. They are the song lines in Australia. They are the dragon lines in the UK, I think. Uh, they are, there may be ley lines, light lines. There's all sorts of names, and I'm interested to hear any more. But they're also the crystal lines or the crystalline grids, and all of this is in the formation of being returned to original divine plan blueprint, as we've been speaking about through words from Gaia over the past probably year, but certainly in the physical during this year. And so this is the same with the planet. So the gateways, if you like, the gateways to the galaxy or the gateways in and out of Earth's ionosphere, stratosphere, they have all been realigned, returned to their original divine placement. And it's the same with us. So, you can think that all of the waters in your body and the waters in the earth are aligned, and the bones in your body and some of the strengthening aspects of the physical earth in terms of the giant trees and in terms of the mountains, they could relate to your bones. And then the crystalline veins, they can relate to the light in your body. There's a whole lot of different ways of aligning it or viewing it. And so this feeling that you're in a different place, this is because we are experiencing this greater sensitivity and vulnerability, and we are feeling, a lot of us are feeling as though we have left the old grid. We haven't yet plugged into the new, and it's because, I believe, because the new is still forming and we are still in a state of transition. So it isn't anything to worry about, but it is something that's unfamiliar. It can make us feel a little bit concerned, a bit wobbly, and I want to say just try and be with it. And I got given this analogy: imagine standing on a vibration plate. And so that is a plate that mechanically moves back and forth, and trying to move against it. If you are in resistance, this may be your experience. So try to let go of resistance. And even trying to let go of resistance is an oxymoron. Come into allowance. Come into being okay with not knowing. Come into sitting in the space of Well, I'm observing this. I don't understand it, but I know it's going to be okay. I just don't know when, and I just don't know how, but I'm okay with it. I'm exploring sitting in this new space. All of that kind of talk to self, reassure yourself, because it really is going to be amazing. So yes, you may still be feeling not correctly reconnected or realigned because, as I started with, our bodies haven't done this before. So find your way bit by bit, a bit like, turning off the light as a child and finding your way by feeling your way along the hallway walls. That's really what we're doing in a simple form. So there's a lot of change around the world. And so a lot of people may be feeling this, particularly in their root and in their sacral, because the root chakra is all about our feeling the sense of safety, of connection, of security. And when we are on a wobble, that can affect all of that. And so the root chakra is being challenged in that way, because we are also, not just changing form and changing place, but we're changing our whole way of being, our whole way of feeling, our whole way of how we operate. And so the root chakra may be feeling a bit wobbly at the moment, as the same I'm reading for the solar plexus, which is, our connection to things, and it's to do with our level of of feeling held and connected, and it can relate to this soft inner vulnerable part of us feeling held. So all of that is, this coming into the unknown, and it can show up as anxiety. Yeah, so today also we had huge plasma coming off from the sun. It arrived. I read something that Philippa Cummins, who is the New Zealand astrologer, she wrote on Facebook. I read that today, and she said that this plasma that's arrived today was emitted from the sun on the 25th of June. And that this relates to all of these deep cellular activations and upgrades. So that's a match with the channeling that I got this morning. So we need to be practicing self-care, because we are in the biggest transition we have ever experienced as sentient beings in the multiverse on Earth. So listen to your body. I want to tell you there are likely to be more earthquakes to come. You will be aware that we've spoken of that for a while, that the earthquakes are this expansion that the planet is going through. And so for us, that might be a good shake-up for ourselves. You might deliberately do that, be shaking your arms and shaking your legs and helping things to move out that way. That's not a bad idea. Yeah, so I wrote in here, I'm feeling a lot of upset, queasiness in my solar plexus and my stomach, and I read that as being answered by conscious breaths. Yeah, and then I just want to remind you that we're in this place where, many of you are fractals. You're fractals of a god or a goddess. You are coming into the rememberings of your lifetimes as priests, as priestesses, as leaders, and as medicine men and women and shamans. And so I'm inviting you to join me to gather up the aspects of yourself to embody the qualities of those in this God Goddess course that I am running starting at the end of this month. So this is an opportunity for us to use the tools and find ways to step into our own wholeness as these higher dimensional beings that we are returning to, because we have come here to align and be in co-creation of our new earth. And so in the return to that is how we will be in that place to operate in that way. So yeah, there's a link on the channel if you are interested, and I'd love to have some more of you join me for that. So let me see here. Hello, Chrissy. You're welcome, Chrissy. Hello, Grace. Oh, that's good. I'm pleased to be able to do that. Kia ora, Fiona. Yes, the aches and pains, great to have validation. Yes, so a lot of people feeling lots of aches and pains and lots of headaches and jaw aches and grumpiness. Grace also feeling lots of aches and pains, getting snapshots of times when I might have said the wrong thing long time ago and processing it all over again. Okay, so yeah, just I would say be light with it, Grace. Honestly, I feel that a lot of this doesn't require deep diving into at the moment. It's about this processing it lightly, acknowledging it, speaking it. And so it's just a matter of kind of figuring it out really as you go or when it comes up. And yeah, to not, what I want to say about that is that I believe that it probably isn't going to happen to you, but that it's likely that a lot of the collective might be plunged into depression. So just be mindful of that for the people around you so that you can help them. And yeah, feel free to share the work that comes through the channel. And that's it from me. So yeah, here we are in good old July, the month of, you know, freedom and transformation and alchemy. And so we will be, you know, watching that on one level, and then as the universal number, it's the 6th, but which is, you know, all about the earth, really, the solid. And so for me, it's coming in the undoing of that and the redoing of that. And this is a big month for that. Moana, hi Moana, greetings. My husband is in constant body aches. He's had doctor's visits and they don't know what is going on. They are the exact symptoms as others have shared. Fantastic. And you know what? Getting in the ocean, getting in the salt water, that's another thing that can help with that. It's pretty cold at the moment, but hey, you can. Oh, and this is a brag from an old time because I haven't done it this year, but I swam every day for a couple of years. I haven't done it for the last year, and I must get myself back to doing it. But I made myself a rule that I would dive under 9 times. That would be my minimum. Playing with numbers, I'm always playing with numbers. So I would duck dive under at least 9 times. That would be the minimum time I would stay in the water, no matter how cold it was. And then I would give myself permission to get out. So if you are lucky enough to be by the beach or in any body of water, really, where it's safe for you to be, it's a pretty refreshing and beautiful way to clear things off. But we're in, yeah, this huge crossover time, really, of this deep, intense purification back through the ages. I mean, many of you have been here in pre-Lemurian times and had, I believe that many of us have had a lifetime in each of those epochs in every single country, experiencing every single culture. And now we're coming back with this to return to the fullness of what we know, and that we're in that sort of, we're in the mixing time of it, really, where we're releasing the old so that we can, the old that keeps us bound, so that we can access the old that makes us greater. And we're coming into this greater illumination, ready to come into this, I believe, this all-knowing, spontaneously healed, incredible, higher dimensional being here on the earth. So it's very exciting times. And I have to say, you know, as I said to some of my family, we are in a time where there is no benefit in suffering. I mean, there never is, but But what I mean by that is that there's nothing to be gained by waiting. You know, find the things that soothe it. Hand up, re being here since my water. Oh, YouTube brings up this heart icon that sits right in front of the last bit of writing on my chat line. Hold on, let me see if I can move it this way. No. So that's why occasionally you'll see I write some nonsense letters in. Didn't go. Can't see what that says, Chrissy. I'll try again. Now it's gone. Oh, wish me luck trying to get him in the ocean. Well, oh, your water world was destroyed. Well, get some Epsom salts into the bath, or a bucket of, you know, even putting your feet into a bucket of salty water, whether it's warm or cold, will be helpful. And you know, we're all going to go through this in different ways and in different orders, and so we can share our expertise on here. But yeah, to me it's super exciting. We are increasingly in this time that we haven't experienced before, and we're closer to the tipping point. And you know, 30%. Oh yeah, and I must ask again, but you know, we're on our way to that, and every day that's getting bigger, that number. So I wish you a beautiful rest of the day, rest of the evening, and yeah, be aware that sleep patterns are up and down. Some people are sleeping really well, and some people are sleeping erratically, and a lot of people, I believe, are, you know, waking up sort of in the middle of the early hours of the morning, around that 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock time. So this is just our bodies just talking to us, and receiving this higher plasmic light, which is bringing through this incredible energy for us to be reignited back to our higher way, our higher dimensional, our incredible, all-knowing, all well, all whole bodies. Okay, see you again next time. Much love.